Hari. Yashoda Nandana Vrashjana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Vrashjana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jayo Radha Matova Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Matova Kunja Bihari Jayom Vishnupad Paramahams Paragraj Acharya Ashtatara Santa Shishimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Everyone's supposed to bow down. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Brinda Ki. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki. Go Premanande. All glories is some devotees. All glories is some devotees. All glories is some devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Narayanam namaskritya naram cheva narotamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayat. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om namo bhagavate vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 28, chapter entitled Puranjana becomes a woman in the next life, text number 24. Purim Viha Purim Viha Yopagata Uparuddho Bhujangamaha Yadatam Evanupuri Vishirna Prakritim Gata Purim Viha Pagata Uparuddho Bhujangamaha Yadatam Evanupuri Vishirna Prakritim Gata Purim Viha Yopagata Uparuddho Bhujangamaha Yadatam Evanupuri Vishirna Prakritim Gata Purim Viha Purim, the city. Vihaya, having given up. Upagata, gone out. Uparuta, arrested. Bhujangama, the serpent. Yada, when. Tam, him. Eva, certainly. Anu, after. Puri, the city. Vishirna, scattered. Prakritim, matter. Gata, turned into. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The serpent who had already been arrested by the soldiers of Yavana Raja and was out of the city began to follow his master along with the others. As soon as they all left the city, it was immediately dismantled and smashed to dust. Translation, responsively. The serpent who had already been arrested by the soldiers of Yavana Raj and was out of the city began to follow his master along with the others. As soon as they all left the city, it was immediately dismantled and smashed to dust. Purport. When the living entity is arrested, all his followers, namely the life air, the senses, and sense objects, immediately leave the lump of matter, the body. When the living entity and his companions leave, the body no longer works, but turns into basic material elements, earth, water, fire, air, and ether. When a city attacked by enemies is vacated by its inhabitants, the enemy immediately takes advantage of that city and bombards it to smash the whole thing to dust. When we say, "Dust thou art, and unto dust thou shalt return," we refer to the body. When a city is attacked and bombarded by enemies, the citizens generally leave, and the city ceases to exist. It is a foolish person who engages in improving the condition of a city without caring for the citizens or inhabitants. Similarly, a living entity who is not properly enlightened in spiritual knowledge simply takes care of the external body, not knowing that the spirit soul is the principal factor within the body. When one is advanced in spiritual knowledge, the spirit soul is saved from eternal transmigration. The Bhagavatam considers those who are attached to their bodies to be like cows and asses. Sa eva go kara. The cow is a very innocent animal, and the ass is a beast of burden. One who labors under the bodily conception simply works like an ass and does not know his self-interest. It is therefore said, Yashyatma buddhi kunape tri dhatuke swadi kalatradishu boma ijyati yat tirta buddhi salile na kahi chij janeshva bi yeshu saeva gokaraha. A human being who identifies this body made of three elements with his self, who considers the byproducts of the body to be his kinsman, who considers the land of birth worshipable, and who goes to a place of pilgrimage simply to take a bath rather than meet men of transcendental knowledge there, is to be considered like an ass or a cow. Human civilization devoid of Krishna consciousness is simply a civilization of lower animals. Sometimes such a civilization may study the dead body and consider the brain or the heart. However, no part of the body is important unless the spirit soul is present. In a modern civilization of cows and asses, scientists try to search out some value in the brain or heart of a dead man. Amigyan Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Mulitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swa Padantikam Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhievacha Petitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare. So many years ago I was in Mumbai, in Bombay, and it was the birthday of His Holiness Radhanath Swami, who was one of the principal gurus in ISKCON. It wasn't his Vyasa Puja, it was his birthday. So about 400 devotees were invited, and they had a program. It was on the roof of one of the buildings, the apartment blocks. And then many devotees were there, and Kirtan was going. Then Maharaj came, and he sat down. And then after the Kirtan, Maharaj spoke. So everyone was waiting. What was he going to say? It was his birthday. And then what did he say on his birthday? What were Maharaj's first words on his birthday? He said, "Everyone is born to die. Happy birthday." Because if you're born, Bhagavad Gita says, one who takes birth, he is sure to die. One who dies, he is sure to take birth again. That is transcendental knowledge. What is the first thing Krishna speaks in Bhagavad Gita? You're not the body. Yeah. Transcendental knowledge, divya gyan. That is the first thing that Krishna speaks. Krishna does not say anything until chapter 2. Sri Bhagavan Uvarcha. So Krishna speaks in chapter 2, and when he begins to speak for the first time, the first thing he gives Arjuna is jnana, or knowledge. The difference between the body and the soul, matter and spirit. Asochanan vasochastvam. Krishna's first instruction. In the alphabet. Did anyone here go to school? Very good. And then they teach you. What is the first letter in the alphabet? A. Very good. Which one? Ah. Yeah. Ah. Or A. In Australia we say A. In India they say Ah. So the same thing. The beginning. So Asochan Anvasot. Krishna begins with the first syllable. This is the beginning of spiritual life. Krishna says first, you have to understand you're not the body, you are the soul. Difference between matter and spirit. And the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam says the same thing. The Bhagavatam is meant to teach us the difference between matter and spirit. That is the purpose. If you don't understand the difference between matter and spirit, then you can't progress in spiritual life. It means you can't chant Hare Krishna properly. Because what is the main medium to become Krishna conscious? Right? It's chanting Hare Krishna. Right? It's chanting the Maha Mantra. So we chant, but your chanting will not become efficient if you don't understand the difference between the body and the soul. If you don't understand the difference between matter and spirit, then you won't progress properly. You can chant for lifetimes. Bahu jamme kariyari shravane kirtana. Means you can go on chanting many lifetimes, but you will not attain Krishna prem. That's why Krishna gives this knowledge first. Later in the Gita, Krishna says there is a difference between jnana and vijnana. Jnana means knowledge, but vijnana means to realize the knowledge. We have to realize we are not the body. Right? We know we are not the body, but we have to realize it. Right? At least Prabhupada says in the beginning it has to be theoretical knowledge. At least theoretically we understand we're not the body. But we don't realize it yet. You have to realize it. Krishna gives the very beginning knowledge. Right? And if you look at Prabhupada's lectures, Prabhupada's teachings, his main, if we said to anyone who listens to Prabhupada's lectures, what is the main thing or the most prominent thing that Prabhupada teaches everyone? You are not this body. Yeah, everyone will say it. You are not this body. Prabhupada would just make that point again and again and again. Why? Right?
First step.
It's the first step, but it's also the last step. Right? It's the beginning and it's the end. Right? What's the problem? We all think we are the body. That is the problem. Just like one time, Prahlad Nandaswami came to the temple and he was giving class, I think in the evening, and he said, what should I speak on? And we said, okay, Bhagavad Gita. So he said, okay. And then, which verse? I said, you choose, Maharaj, like that. And then he chose like one of those early verses, Tehinos Min or something like that. I said, Maharaj, that is just beginning. Let's speak about something more. And he said, but we haven't even understood that yet. You want to go further, but you haven't even understood the first lesson of Bhagavad Gita. Actually, Srila Prabhupada says, one should not go beyond canto 1 and 2 until one has become detached from illicit sex. Right? Until there's no sex desire. So that means all of us have to just stay on canto 1 and 2 for many years. Oh, that's falling down. Why are you giving me this faulty equipment? Why don't you give me a microphone that works? I give so much money to this temple and I get this microphone. So, it's good? Yeah, that's good. So, if you are still attached to illicit sex, Prabhupada says you should not go past canto 1 or 2 if there's sex desire there. So it means we would stay in the canto 1 and 2, just keep going back and forth, going back. Beginning canto 1, go to the end. No. We go beyond, but I mean now we're on canto 4. How many times have we gone around?
4 times.
4 times. Is this the 4th time, is it? Okay. 1 time, 2 times, 3. Might be the 3rd time even. You sure it's 4 or you're just saying? I think so, yeah. Or it might be even the 3rd time we're going around. When I joined in 89, we're on canto 11, and then we started canto 1 again, and that took all the way till, it took nearly 20 years, so it might be the 3rd time, I think. Like that. So we're going around, like that, because Prabhupada instructed us, do the whole Bhagavatam. Then when you get to the end, go back and start again. Srila Prabhupada said we should read all of his books 3 times. Hands up if you read all Prabhupada's books 3 times. Hands up 2 times. Hands up 1 time. Hands up no times. So you have to read. Prabhupada said we should be reading his books 1 to 2 hours a day. Hands up, you doing 1 to 2 hours a day. 1 devotee in the whole place. Or maybe 2. Should be reading 1 to 2. 1977. Prabhupada was leaving this world, right? And Tamal Krishna Maharaj, my Guru Maharaj, was serving Prabhupada. And very very difficult service, because they would go to bed maybe 10 o'clock or something, get up 4 o'clock, only sleeping 6 hours. And then from the time you got up until when they went to bed again, just with Prabhupada, serving Prabhupada, looking after Prabhupada. Right? It's a very taxing service, right? Very time-consuming service. And then at one point, Prabhupada said to Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he said, "Are you reading my books?" And Tamal Krishna Maharaj looked at Prabhupada, right, in disbelief. And he just said, "Prabhupada, I have no time." Because he just sleeps 6 hours, the rest of the time is with Prabhupada. Eating a little bit, chanting his rounds, taking bath, the rest of the time just serving Prabhupada. And Prabhupada said, you have to reduce eating and sleeping. And then Tamal Krishna Maharaj looked at Prabhupada. Already he's reducing eating and sleeping. Only 6 hours sleeping, eating just enough, and then keep going. And then Prabhupada said, it requires practice. So Prabhupada himself was only sleeping 2 hours in the evening. He reduced that sleeping over time. So it requires practice. If you have determination, then you can read every day 1 or 2 hours. You have to reduce your eating and sleeping. And then you have time for devotional service. It means you have to become determined. That's what it means. But we have to read the books, because then we have to realize we are not the body, we are the soul. If you don't read Prabhupada's books, if you don't regularly come to Bhagavatam class, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, you will not realize all of this. That's why you have to. It has to come deep within our consciousness. We are not the body, we are the soul. Prabhupada said, at least in the beginning, theoretically. So all the decisions you make in your life are based on that understanding. I am not the body, I am the soul. Because if you make decisions based that you are the body, your life will become miserable. I am this body. Just like marriage. Is anyone here married? A few people are married, right? Right. They look at me with funny looks on their faces. Like, are you married? Like, yeah. Okay. So, just like marriage. Prabhupada said, we need marriage as much as we need a material body. Do you need a material body? No, you don't need a material body. Why do you have a material body? Because you chose to be separate from Krishna. So Krishna said, have a material body. Go and enjoy yourself separately. How are you enjoying yourself so far? Not very... Huh? Yeah, but how much happiness do you have in this material world? How much happiness do you have with your knees and all your work? How much happiness do you have? It is limited, and you are young. As soon as you get old, the happiness will disappear. The material body cannot give you happiness. It will gradually disappear over time. So that is the nature of the material world. It cannot give you happiness. So you don't need a material body, but you want to have a material body. Therefore, Krishna gives you a material body. If you don't want a material body, Krishna will take it away. Right? But you want it, so Krishna says, okay, keep it. Keep the material body. Right? And then, Prabhupada said, marriage is as necessary as a material body. You don't need a material body, but you want one, so you have it. You don't need marriage, but because you think you are the body, then okay, you need it. It will purify you. It purifies the consciousness. But we don't need it. But because we're still thinking we are the body, then okay. It is like a safe plan. It is said, renunciation, brahmachari, sannyas, those ashrams, that is the sure way back to Godhead. Right? But the grihastha ashram, it is said, is the safe way back to Godhead. One is sure, if you can do it properly, it is sure to go back. One is safely, you'll go back gradually. Actually, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, Grihastha ashram is a good position for the Vaishnava in Kali Yuga. Because in Kali Yuga, everyone is contaminated. Hands up if you are a little bit contaminated in the consciousness. Oh God. I came to the wrong place. Everyone here is contaminated. Krishna, what will we do with this association? Everyone contaminated. And we're contaminated by the effects of Kali Yuga. Kale dosha nidhe rajan, Bhagavatam says. Kali Yuga is an ocean of dosha. It is an ocean of faults. So many defects in Kali Yuga. So many defects are there in this age of Kali. It is full of problems. It is the age of quarrel and hypocrisy. It is full of faults. So the consciousness is contaminated. So therefore, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, this age is a very good, in this age, Grihastha ashram is a good ashram. Because we're contaminated. So okay, then if you think you are the body, you get married. Keep practicing Krishna consciousness. And then if you keep practicing properly. So what is the key element which purifies? Right? Because we're all devotees. Some devotees are brahmacharis sitting here. Some devotees are grihastas. Right? I don't think we have any vanaprasthas. Maybe some vanaprasthas. No sannyasis in the audience. But what is the element which purifies the brahmachari and the grihasta and the vanaprastha and the sannyasi? It is sadhana bhakti. Sadhana. Sadhana is what purifies us. So it doesn't matter which ashram you're in. Lord Chaitanya had followers in Grihastha ashram and all the ashrams. Brahmacharis, sannyasis, all of them. They were all there, vanaprastha. But what is the most important element? It is your sadhana. Your sadhana will purify you. Why do we do sadhana? Right? To purify us from the bodily concept of life. Prabhupada said you get up in the morning, you do the morning program, right? It purifies the consciousness. So now we all have to start doing our service after this, during the day, and then when the contamination of Kali Yuga hits us, we have purified ourselves. So we won't become so contaminated. Right? It's like if you're a doctor and you have to go into the hospital, the sick people are there, so first you have to take the injection, like the inoculation, and then you inoculate yourself so when you go you won't become so contaminated. So it says the morning program purifies us so when we go out into the world we don't become so contaminated by it. We're inoculated. And Prabhupada says once a year you go to the holy Dham and you bathe in the Ganga, and you bathe in these purifying waters and you purify yourself by the potency of the holy Dham, and then you become more purified, then you go back and you keep doing your service. That is the system. Or if you can't go to Mayapur, bathe in the Ganga, you can go and bathe in the Yarra River. One devotee, he went to the Yarra River, near the bridge, goes over the Yarra River. He got a bottle of Ganga water, he poured it in. So then it became purified, the Yarra River. Maybe non-different from the Ganga. Jayapataka Swami told us the Ganga comes from the spiritual world. It says in the Bhagavatam. So Ganga comes from the spiritual world, comes down into the material world, Lord Shiva catches on his head, and then it begins to trickle through the material. It first goes through the heavenly planets, Swaga, as Mandakini, right? And then it comes down to Bhuloka, to the earth, and then after it leaves the earth, it goes down into Patalaloka and it goes through there. So Jayapataka Swami told us when it comes into the ocean, from the Himalaya down into the Bay of Bengal, it goes into the ocean. He said it travels around the earth through every ocean. And once it's gone through every ocean, then it goes down. So Maharaj, when he used to go for his walks down here on the beach, he used to go down to the ocean and touch on his head, like that. And he told us the Ganga goes through every ocean. So you go down there and swim, you get purified. If you're in the right consciousness. That is actually the system. So we have to purify ourselves in the bodily concept of life. Right? That is all, we all have the same disease. What is our disease? We think we are the body. And because you think you are the body, you are suffering unlimitedly in the material world. Hands up if you are suffering unlimitedly in the material world. Okay, 2 people. Maybe you're not suffering right now unlimitedly, but you have suffered. Right? If you could, you know why you can't remember your previous lifetimes? Because if you could remember it, right, you wouldn't even be able to get up in the morning. You think you got problems now. If you went through all the suffering you went through in the material world, we wouldn't be able to cope mentally. Therefore we forget. Jnanam smritiya apohanam cha. You forget. Krishna allows forgetfulness. So the main thing is the body. We need to become detached from the body. That's what's being said here. Because what happens to the body? This story is paranjana. Right? It is allegorical. It is a allegory. It's not like there's a real person called Paranjana and all these things. It's an allegory in the Bhagavatam. But it is spoken, this pastime is spoken to breed what in our consciousness? Vairagya, or detachment from your body. So this verse says, what will happen to your body? Yeah, you will die. You will die. Right? Gives a nice description. It says, which verse, Mel? 24. The serpent. This analogy is given all through the Bhagavatam, different places in the Vedas. We are like, Bhagavatam says in the 2nd canto, we are like frogs. Transcendental Frog Maharaj ki. We are like frogs. What does the frog do? Croaking all the time. And what's he doing? Calling the snake. The frog thinks, oh, I am speaking nicely. People like to speak all the time. Have you noticed that? People just like the sound of their own voices. I know so many people who just speak and no one's interested, right? Except them. Right? And they just talk and talk and talk and talk. No one's really listening. But everyone just likes the sound of their own voice. So that is like the frog. The frog is going, burp, burp, and everyone, he's thinking, I sound so nice. But what's he doing? He's just calling the snake. Oh, I'm over here. And the snake is coming. So Bhagavatam says we spend our life just making all this noise, and then the snake of death just comes and goes, takes us. So the serpent is coming. Just a matter of time, the serpent is Sapa. He is coming. No problem. He will get here soon. Death is coming. My grandmother, you know my grandmother? Anyone? No, my grandmother. My mother's mother. Anyone met her? She used to come into the temple sometimes. She came a few times. She would dance in the kirtan. When she was young, she was a dancer. So the Mataji's would dance, she would go and dance with them. An old lady, and she'd do her dancing, because she just liked to dance, like that. So she came. So I used to go and see her before she passed from this world. And she told me, when she was about 86, she said, where does all the time go? She said, everything just goes like that. My whole life, just suddenly, like in one moment, gone. That's what happens. What we think now, we've got plenty of time, but one day we will come, we'll be like very old, and it's all gone. And now death is just ready to go like this. So this is called Sapa, the snake of death. He is coming. So it says here, we will become arrested by the soldiers, and they will dismantle the city. So death is coming. We will all die soon. We haven't got long. A few decades. I turned 50 last year. So now how much time have I got now? Probably 40 years maximum, I would say. I'll be lucky. All my grandparents died in the 80s, 88, 89. So, if I go something like that, not too long. Over the halfway mark. Down the hill. It's all over now. Right? It is finishing. But Prabhupada says, when you get to 50, you have to become very serious in spiritual life. Because Prabhupada says the body begins to have problems and decay. But one thing I'm seeing, this sense of enjoyment does not leave. Just because you're old doesn't go away. You know the famous pastime? Who was it? Birbal? And what was Akbar and Birbal? Yeah, they were together. So Birbal was the advisor to Akbar. And Akbar was saying to him, Akbar was a great king in India, famous king. He was saying to Birbal, he's saying, when you get old, sex desire goes from you. And Birbal said, no, it doesn't. It's still there. And Akbar said, no, no, no. Birbal said, anyway, bring your daughter and meet me at this house, right, in the city. So he brought the daughter, right, his princess, very beautiful princess, Akbar's daughter. And he brought, and Birbal said, come with me. So they walked into the house. They walked in, and there was a dying man, very old, dying man. He's laying there, nearly dying. And this is the emperor, this is the king of India, has just walked in. And when he walked in with his daughter, the old man, he looked at the daughter. Like that. Wasn't interested in, I mean, the king himself has come to see him on his deathbed, a great honor. But he looked at the daughter. No? And then Birbal said to Akbar, just see. You think sex desire is gone. He's just about to die. Right? Still he's focused on the form of the woman. Krishna says, yam yam vapi smaram bhavam. Whatever you remember at the time of death, that's what you will come. You will take birth as a woman. If you're meditating on the form of the woman at death, you will take birth as a woman. If you're meditating on the form of the man, you take birth as a man. You meditate on the form of the pig, you become a pig. Next life. Bhakta Porky. With your 3 kids. Huey, Dewey and Louie. And your fat wife. With her moustache. Like that. So if you're attached to this material world, then yeah, you'll take birth again. So our sadhana is meant to make us detached. We practice detachment. So we become detached from this world. So at the time of death, you think of Krishna. You have to think of the form of Krishna. Especially, Prabhupada says, for grihasta, you have to do deity worship. Archa Vigraha. Srimurti, Shradaya, Sevan. Right? Rupa Goswami says, especially for the grihastas, you have to worship the deities. Why? Because you have to become attached to the transcendental form of Krishna, not the form in this world. You have to become attached to Krishna. That's why we have to do deity worship. Srimurti, Shradaya Sevan. You have to worship the deity with great faith, with great love and devotion. When you worship the deity, it is called Atmavan Seva. What is Atmavan Seva? Atmavan Manyate Jagat. Well, you know in the Vedas it says like that. What is Atmavan Seva?
Whatever I like, deity is like.
Yeah, whatever I like or whatever I'm feeling, the deity is feeling. Okay, I'm hot. The deity must be hot. I am cold. The deity must be hot. So you dress the deity appropriately. I am hungry. The deity must be hungry. Hari Sori Prabhu, he asked Prabhupada in Vrindavan. Because in Vrindavan, they offer the bhoga to Krishna. Like at Radha Shama Sundar, Krishna Balaram Mandir, we offer the bhoga to Krishna. So Prabhupada said to Hari Sori in Vrindavan, he said, everything which is cooked in Vrindavan is already prasad. So when you go to Vrindavan, everything which is cooked, not the non-veg. They cook non-veg in Vrindavan? Not so much? Something is there. Yeah. Yeah, something is there, but not so much. But something is there. But Prabhupada said everything in Vrindavan is already prasad. So then Hari Sori Prabhu said to Prabhupada, then why do we offer to the deities if it's already prasad? Prabhupada said, because Krishna is hungry. What's he going to eat? What does Mother Yashoda think all day? Krishna must be hungry. That's all she thinks all day practically. He must be hungry. Cooks. You know when he was holding Giriraj, Govardhan Hill? 7 days, 7 nights. Krishna had a lotus flower between the thumb and, what's that called? Index finger, right? Krishna had a lotus flower. He was twirling like that. And you see in India, sometimes the Brahmanas, the boys have long fingernails on the, you see Bhakti Vichapurna Maharaj, they have like little finger and they have long fingernail. Krishna has that. So he was actually holding Giriraj on the fingernail, on the top. So he's like that, 7 days, 7 nights, standing there. And the cowherd boys said, change arms. Your arm must be tired, change arms. He said, no, it's okay. So they got up, they were massaging his arms, making sure he's okay. Right? And he's holding like this. And Mother Yashoda, she said, you must be hungry. You're holding like this, you need something to eat. So she was cooking sweet rice and feeding him, right, with her own hand, putting in his mouth. He was taking sweet rice and just holding Giriraj. Right? She's always thinking, what does he need to eat? What does he need to eat? So that's why we offer the bhoga to the deities. Because we think, Krishna, I'm hungry. Hands up if you're hungry. You're always hungry. This is the problem with you ISKCON devotees, always hungry. Everything just prasad, prasad, prasad. Have to do more chanting, too much prasad, more chanting. Serve prasadam also. That is good. So everyone is taking prasad, right? So we like to take prasad, but we have to think, Krishna must be hungry. Just like sometimes in the house of the Grihasta, they're offering Krishna maybe some little bit of nuts and a little bit of sultana, a little bit of bhoga they offer to deity in the morning, but then the whole family is eating like, Raj Bhog, and just eat. No, that's not good. No? Whatever you eat, Krishna has to eat. Krishna has to eat better than us. Should be the other way. Krishna, you eat the Raj Bhog, we just have some fruits and veggies. Enough. In other words, Krishna has to eat not. And if Krishna leaves us some prasad, then we take it. Sometimes, in our history, Gaudiya Vaishnava history, it describes that some of the deities took the bhoga offering. They offered the bhog, they went away, they came back, opened up, and something was gone. It is there in our history. Sometimes Krishna will take the offering. Have you ever seen here in Melbourne when you do the offering, something is missing? I never saw it, but it can happen. If Radha Ballabha, maybe one day, Jit comes in, looks at, what happened? Everything is gone. Huh? Yeah, it's possible. It can happen. If the deity is alive, the deity wants to take, sometimes it happens. There is history. Madhavendra Puri, the deity of Shisho Gopinath, he took the pot of sweet rice, hid it behind himself. These pastimes are there. Even Jananivas Prabhu told me in Mayapur, Jananivas Prabhu is the head pujari. He told me they installed the deity of Jagannath Balaram Subhadra at Simanti Dweep in Rajpur, Mayapur. So then, someone gave Giriraj Shila, Govardhan Shila. So then they put the Govardhan Shila on the altar. And then the pujari had a dream. And in the dream, Jagannath said to the pujari, you put the offering in front of us, and then you start ringing the bell, and before we can even taste it, Giriraj, Govardhan, starts eating everything. Like that. He had this dream, the pujari. So then he came to Jananivas Prabhu, he told him. He said, I had this dream. No, actually I think he came to Jayapataka Swami, but they had the dream. No? And then Maharaj said, okay, 2 offerings. So now if you go to Rajpal, they have one for Giriraj, one for Jagannath, because Giriraj was stealing everything. He was taking everything from. Well, we have Giriraj here as well. So I don't know, you don't know. Maybe Jit will have a dream tonight that you go to Aniruddha Prabhu. Giriraj is taking the... These deities are alive. Maybe you don't see it, that's your problem. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it says the deity is talking and walking. There's so many pastimes, the deities are alive. So this is why we offer the bhoga to Krishna. Because it has to make Krishna satisfied and happy. So grihastas need to do deity worship. All of us actually need to do deity worship, because you have to get out of the bodily concept of life. You have to start thinking, is Krishna hungry? Not are we hungry, is Krishna hungry? That is bhakti. So at the end of your life, you will meditate on the transcendental form of Krishna. Yeah. When you're dying, just like Prabhupada, when Prabhupada was leaving this world, right, Srila Prabhupada, he was his body was emaciated. Prabhupada was just lying on the bed, he couldn't even sit up and like this. And at one point in time, devotees were doing 24-hour kirtan for Prabhupada. So Brahmananda Prabhu, one of Prabhupada's early disciples, he was leading kirtan. Prabhupada woke up. Prabhupada said, "Who is that?" He said, "Brahmananda Prabhupada." He said, "Brahmananda?" He said, "I heard you were sick." Someone told him Brahmananda Prabhu got sick. And Prabhupada was leaving his body. Like, his body was so weak, he couldn't even sit up by himself. And Prabhupada said to Brahmananda, he said, "Are you okay? Are you taking something for your sickness?" Prabhupada leaving his body, he's thinking, is Brahmananda okay? His young disciple, is he like that? So this is what we should be thinking at the time of death, not thinking about our body, but thinking about Krishna. Is Krishna hungry? Can I get up and cook for him? Does he need something to eat? Can I dress him? Can I do some service for him? Just like in Vrindavan, there was that pujari. He cooked for the deities for many, many years. What was the name of the? Vibhu Chaitanya Prabhu. Yeah. He's a great Mahatma, great saint. He used to get up in the morning, cook the Mangaladi sweets, and cook every offering, all 7 offerings for the deities. More than 30 years, yeah. So more than 30 years, he was cooking every offering for the deity. All 7 offerings. Like we have different cooks come in the kitchen. He did everything. Just came in the morning, cooked all the way till night, and then went. So he wasn't chanting his rounds. Everyone in ISKCON has to chant 16 rounds if you're initiated. He was initiated by Prabhupada. So they went to Prabhupada, and they said, "Prabhupada, he's cooking all the offerings, he's not chanting his rounds." Prabhupada said, while he is cooking, if he is chanting, then that is okay. He can just cook and chant, and he will go back to Godhead. It doesn't mean we can do that. Doesn't mean, I'm doing so much catering, I don't have to chant my rounds, or, like that. Whatever your services are. I do so much so I can't. No, we can't do it. Only if the Guru says it is okay, then you can do it. So Prabhupada said, Vibhu Chaitanya Prabhu, he said, no, that's okay. He can just, so he did that for 30 years. Got up in the morning, and whenever you went under the kitchen, we used to walk underneath the kitchen, you could hear him chanting. He was chanting, Hare Krishna, Hare, and cooking 7 offerings a day. Right? But then, when he retired, he was too old to cook anymore, then he started chanting his rounds. That's the point. And then he was giving out the Charanamrita. He'd sit there for many hours a day and just give all the Charanamrita to everyone who came. And for me, that was a great ecstasy when I would go there and get the Charanamrita off him. He used to hold my hand and then put the Charanamrita, and then that was like great blessing. So this is the point. You want to be thinking of the deity when you leave this body. Is the deity hungry? Not am I hungry? No? We spend too much of our life thinking, oh, I am hungry. What am I going to eat for lunch? And when we finish lunch, we think, what am I going to eat for dinner? And then you think, oh, I can't wait for the Sunday feast this weekend. They're always thinking of sense gratification. We have to learn to think of Krishna. So at the time of death, we'll think of Krishna. And then if you think of Krishna, you'll go back to him. So we'll stop here. We'll see if there's any questions or comments. Yes, Mataji. Atmavan Seva. What is the reference? Arindra Prabhu. I heard him give a lecture and he was speaking about this concept, Atmavan Seva. In terms of like a Shastric quote, I can't give you like a Shastric quote, but I heard him explain this. Yeah. But I heard him, he gave a lecture one time and he was speaking about Atmavan Seva. Thinking of whatever I am feeling and the deity is feeling. That's the reference. So. Any other?
Maybe I heard this explanation before, but I forgot, like, in the paper when you say, like, the man who thinks of his children, his men, and the land where his God worship God, and that is no better than an ass or a cow.
Yeah.
How do you understand the concept of cow? Like, putting the head in a low profile.
Yeah, devotees always ask this question. Yeah. The question is, it says in the verse, there's a verse quoted in this purport, it says, one who goes to a holy place just to bathe in the river, but does not associate with the holy people who live there, is no better than an ass or a cow. Because a cow and an ass, they just go and bathe, they don't go and speak. You don't see asses and cows coming to the Bhagavatam class. Right, and listening to the class, right? They just go and bathe in the water and like that. So it says, if you do that, you're no better than us a cow. So yeah, devotees always ask this question, because the cow is holy. Why is the cow mentioned in that verse? Because the cows are like that. Now, they don't come to Bhagavatam class. They're a holy animal, but they're animals, pashu, which means they don't have developed intelligence, that's all. They could use any animal as example, but they're just saying like that. It doesn't mean they're degrading the cow, they're just saying that they're animals, so less developed. That's all. Any other question? Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki? Jai. Om.